Hey, my name's Nathan, this is the Future Games Show, and if you're anything like me, then you've been enjoying a year of quality video games. You know, first we had Dead Space, then Resident Evil 4, Metroid Prime, and soon we're going to have Silent Hill 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time, and Max Payne 1 and 2, and... Wait, what year is this? What year is this?
2023.
Are the twins okay? Are the twins okay?
The twins?
Yeah, the twins, Mary Kate and Ashley, are they okay? Did they get their passport to Paris? I need to know. I need to know.
Ooh la la. Mary Kate and Ashley's all-new movie, Passport.
Every generation of gamers thinks that their generation of games were the best. You know, Spectrum fanboys still going about Chucky Egg as if it doesn't look like a hate crime made in MS Paint. My formative years were spent with the mighty PlayStation 2. Released in 2000, it went on to become the best-selling video games console of all time, with games still being made for it well into 2013, as if it was in some kind of power struggle to outlive Thatcher. Which it did. Now, look, I'm not going to sit here and go on some sort of rant where I say that my generation of games were definitively the best, but I'm a liar and they were, and that's absolutely what I'm about to do. Because just look at a year like 2001, yeah? Grand Theft Auto 3, Metal Gear Solid 2, Silent Hill 2, Ico, Devil May Cry, and that was in its first year. You know, the Geneva Convention states that no video games console is legally allowed to have anything worth playing until year 2 at the very least. And here was the PlayStation 2 with like a whole catalogue of classics within that first 365 days. It was madness. Clearly, something about games development around about this time was really working. That sixth generation of consoles just had classic after classic after classic. And I think it's down to one reason. One reason that in turn has led to this influx of remakes that we're set to get over the next few years, and that reason is the PlayStation 2's limitations. But what do I mean by that? Okay, well, we're going to have to go on a bit of a journey here, so stick with me. Back in 2005, Japanese development reports from the Computer Entertainment Suppliers Association found that the average cost for developing a PlayStation 2 game was roughly about $900,000. Skip forward just a couple of years and the budget needed to develop a game like Heavy Rain increases the budget to $28.1 million. Jesus, all that money just to feel like you've taken the fake taxi to the uncanny valley. Ugh. But it's crazy to compare them, right? Because that basically means that one Heavy Rain cost about the same as 28 dogs' lives. And I'm not talking about the video game. I am talking about the video game. It's a joke, come on. Then fast forward even further to 2020, where it's reported that Cyberpunk 2077 cost an almost unfathomable $174 million to develop and 8 years from announcement until release. All because gamers these days demand 40-hour epics in which they can see the individual lice on the individual strands of Mario's moustache. And to satiate that demand, these games have just ballooned with empty gameplay to kind of artificially inflate that playtime. You've got maps littered with collectibles and gwents and races, and I'll tell you something, right? I'm in a little race myself, yeah? A race with a little known concept called death. So I've not got fucking time for all this, right? I'm sorry, Link, but I'm not picking up all that Korok shit. I'm just not doing it. But returning to 2001, the beauty of the PlayStation 2 was in its limitations. Because, you know, it was powerful enough that it could create these big open worlds and complex stories, but, you know, limited enough that the work needed to create that didn't take an endless number of hours or cost about as much as it does to heat your home these days. And these worlds were gorgeous and detailed, but, you know, about 80% of PlayStation 2 characters didn't have fingers, just big blocks for fists. But that was alright. You know, who cares about that? I don't care about fingers. I don't care about the... Get your fingers off my hand. Ah! Alright, back in 2001, say Sony spend just under $1 million in a year or so to create something like Ico. It doesn't sell very well, but that's alright, the next one might. And, you know, you've made something that critically did very well and a small group of people cherish even to this day. You know, win-win. But these days, you release a game that no one plays, and as a developer, you've wasted an amount of money that could have taken a good stab at solving world hunger, and you have a 7-year-old at home that you've never met. who's only ever heard rumours, myths, even of your existence, down the mine, working your life away making the Callisto Protocol. "What's that, Daddy?" she says when she finally meets you. "Is that anything like Dead Space?" And you weep. You weep. But here's the thing, creativity isn't linear. It's like snakes and ladders. Your mistakes are just as important as your successes and, teaching you the way to go. Here's a good example, right? Take Sony Worldwide Studios president Shuhei Yoshida, who played 2 hours of Demon's Souls and then announced to the world that From Software's breakout hit was crap, an unbelievably bad game. I mean, what a thing to say. Imagine if From Software had taken that to heart and just stopped there, stopped making games. Think of all the experiences we would have lost. Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Sekiro, Bloodborne. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd probably have a few more functioning controllers around the house. I'd still have custody of my kids, but it's about the games. The games are the things that matter. None of that other shit. And this sort of thing is happening right now. Daedalic Entertainment, the developers of Gollum, they're just done with making games. That game got slammed so much that they've just decided, do you know what, see, the risk of continuing any sort of creative journey in video games, it's just not worth it, so we're done, doors closed. But who knows, they could have taken all the lessons that they learned from Gollum and gone on to make the next Dark Souls. I mean, probably not. Just look at it. I didn't even play it. All I've done is look at this footage, and I still applied for a refund. So what does the industry do when it's faced with that big a problem, that huge a risk? Well, I think it looks back to the last time when it didn't have that problem, when development time wasn't too long and budgets were reasonable, and I think that's round about the era of the PlayStation 2. I think that's why when you look at the 2023 release calendar, quite a lot of it is all of these remakes from round about that era, from 2001 to 2008. And I know what you're thinking, oh, I don't remember playing Dead Space on my PlayStation 2, and all I'll say to you is this: if life on planet Earth over the last 10 years has taught me anything, it's that you don't have to make sense to make a point. But don't get me wrong, right? I love a lot of these games. I thought the Resident Evil 4 remake was a triumph. I love having Metroid Prime on my Switch, and I can't wait to see how they slaughter Silent Hill 2. I do think it's a bit of a shame that we've kind of drifted so far from those experimental years, where the safe option now is to just remake and re-release a suite of games that at one time were kind of new and daring and exciting, but now just feel a little bit dull in how safe they are, Unless we get a Dog's Life remake, in which case just disregard everything I've said. Yeah, I take it all back, if so. Take it all back, boys! Anyway, I've been Nathan, and thank you very much if you've got this far through yet another White Man's Rant on YouTube. Please do check out some of the other great videos on the FGS channel, and I'll hopefully see you again very soon. Maybe in your nightmares.